What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about a new gameplay event for Modern Warfare 3, some spicy open world details for the campaign, plus even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also as a reminder, we got plenty of brand new coverage going up over on detonated.com, expanding on all the coverage you're seeing here on the channel, just in the form of journalism. Also got plenty of tweets going up every single hour over on Detonated's Twitter. Again, the link is down below. And with that being said, I also posted a separate video as of yesterday in regards to everything we know so far about Season 5 Reloaded for MW2 and Warzone. We should be getting official marketing for the mid-Season 5 update later this week, which I'll also keep you guys up to date with, along with all the brand new marketing for MW3. Stream should also be resuming. I'll be live in the next couple of hours after this video does go up, and I'll be reacting to the brand new gameplay premiere for MW3's campaign, which we'll be talking about in a second. Unfortunately, streams were a little scuffed the last couple of days because my SSD ended up dying inside of my PC, but I got it replaced. Everything should be good and ready to go for plenty of gameplay coverage, those kind of streams, and of course the podcast every single Friday. But as I just mentioned, we have Gamescom opening night, which is happening today, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 o'clock Eastern, and 7 p.m. UK. Gamescom is kicking off, and there is a Call of Duty panel that will be featured inside of Gamescom, featuring roughly, I want to say, 8 to 10 minutes of gameplay for a single MW3 campaign mission. They typically do this every single year when it comes to a new COD campaign. They always show us a good glimpse of one of the missions, usually taking place towards the middle of the game's campaign. They usually premiere that along with a small sit-down with devs at some point during the middle of every major gaming event, whether it's Gamescom, whether it's Game Award shows, whatever the case is there. But there is also a possibility that somebody from Sledgehammer or even Treyarch or somebody higher up at Activision sits down for a minute before the gameplay actually premieres and tells us when to expect an official gameplay premiere for either multiplayer or zombies, or at least more information about when the next big event is for Call of Duty, right? When we're going to get a massive batch of marketing, they'll probably talk about something in the middle of the Gamescom presentation. But there's also an embargo lifting relatively soon. It could even be today for all we know, but select content creators did get flown out the Sledgehammer about a week ago, in which they were able to look at actual campaign gameplay for MW3. They also got to sit down and play MW3 multiplayer. I don't believe they've shared everything that they actually got to witness over at that event, because there is another embargo that probably lifts today when it comes to campaign information, then another embargo whenever multiplayer fully gets revealed. They'll probably be sharing more information over on their socials, so I'll go ahead and break all of that down on stream for you guys, and of course in separate videos of mine as well. But in terms of campaign early access, as a big reminder, the different editions of Modern Warfare 3, which already got revealed, do actually confirm that campaign early access does begin on November the 2nd. It's a couple of days before the full launch of the game on the 10th itself, and as it mentions, right, you could play the campaign early with just any pre-order of MW3. It doesn't necessarily have to be a certain edition of the game, just a pre-order in general. As we saw last year with Modern Warfare 2, I think campaign early access is a fantastic new addition to the COD franchise to give everybody time to get immersed in the environments, with the weapons, with the characters, and with just the narrative overall without having to worry about falling behind in multiplayer or zombies, even Warzone. Huge fan of this. I'll of course be breaking everything down with campaign during early access later this fall, and I'll be posting every single mission here for you guys on the channel like I did last year. But in terms of details that did get confirmed already for the campaign, and we'll also go into a bit of a trailer breakdown later on as well, check timestamps down below, it was confirmed that the campaign will feature Task Force 141 characters like Farah, who didn't really have a major role in MW2's campaign. She was featured in the raids quite a bit though. We're all seeing the return of Shepard, Makarov, and even more. Hopefully Graves is in there. I'm sure he will be, but the story takes place right after Modern Warfare 2, right? When we got that No Russian teaser, we're going to be seeing the aftermath of whatever happened there. That's probably the opening of MW3's campaign, seeing Konni infiltrate a commercial airline, crash landing it, blaming it on somebody else. We'll have to wait and see how exactly that's going to be panning out, but yes, it will also follow up on the narrative that we saw during MW2's raid episodes, because obviously there was a lot established with Hadir's death and Task Force 141 reuniting with Farah and, you know, rescuing Alex, learning about the real Russians, the impending threat of Makarov. It's also confirmed that the campaign will feature locales from Verdansk and other places around the globe. We'll get more into Verdansk later in this video as well, because you guys might be confused as to how this is a sequel, but features Verdansk, which got blown up a couple of years ago. And also, half the missions are linear like a traditional campaign, while the other half are open combat missions, allowing you to choose your path. So jumping into that real quickly, in terms of what open combat missions are, essentially the freedom of choice, right? Something that Black Ops Cold War also established with a couple of missions, where you had an option to go through certain paths of a certain mission, which would actually dictate how the rest of the mission would play out. So you could actually choose your own path, which would affect not only the narrative that took place after you completed that mission, but would also impact the gameplay you experience. So I think they're going to be double downing on that within MW3's campaign in a way that we haven't seen before, really taking open world campaign missions to a whole other level. But the official description from the COD blog does say, and I quote, "Combat means making decisions using different loadouts and planning different paths through every operation across an involved and thrilling campaign. campaign. In addition to the signature cinematic MW3 missions, this game is introducing open combat ones with even greater emphasis on player choice. Naturally, you'll have the use of all the weapons, equipment, and tactics present in an action-packed Modern Warfare single player, but for some of your engagements, it is completely up to you to decide on an appropriate course of action. Feel free to take advantage of any operable vehicles within your area of operations. You're able to experiment with and leverage tactical and lethal equipment. You have the flexibility to maneuver across the sizable landscape of a mission's AO and approach objectives from multiple angles. You can truly play how you want to play, and open combat missions will support that. So that sounds crazy to be able to use things like vehicles. I believe even kill streaks were confirmed by folks that got flown out. It's going to be crazy to see how this pans out. Will it just be the ability to choose your path, but you still get the same ending cutscene and same narrative? Or will it be like Cold War, where you almost get some type of alternate endings based on decisions you made in earlier campaign missions? We'll have to wait and see just how far this is going to go, but this sounds great. And on top of what's going on with Verdansk now, you guys might be confused, but as I pointed out in an article that I wrote over on dkdynamite.com, Verdansk is clearly visible in different shots of our Makarov reveal trailer, even our full gameplay reveal trailer. This is how I think Verdansk is coming back, because if this is not the case, that means they've retconned the Zombies Outbreak and that nuke event from a couple of years ago, but I don't think they did that. It's possible, but what it seems like is there'll be a flashback mission where you play as Konni, which are Makarov's operatives, and you have to break Makarov out of the gulag over in Verdansk. And on top of that, there'll probably be other flashbacks to things he might have done to Verdansk, right? You'll be seeing the stadium, the dam, and other areas of that fan-favorite Warzone map. So I really don't think they're going to really wreck on the story, since they have continuously put an emphasis on the fact that Black Ops and Modern Warfare are fully crossed over, as we got plenty of glimpses of the Perseus logo throughout the MW2 raid episode. So they wouldn't be continuously throwing Black Ops references in our face if they're going to go ahead and retcon a big event that took place during Cold War's life cycle on Verdansk. I'll keep you guys posted with that. Now, over in the gameplay reveal trailer, there is a shot that makes it seem like Price dies. Now, could be a red herring. I highly doubt that they're going to spoil something that big in a trailer. I mean, you could actually look at it from both ways. You could say, oh, they're going to spoil it in the trailer, but nobody out there is going to believe that they really did spoil it. But then when that death does happen, we can look back and be like, damn, that was teased the whole time in the trailer. Or that was put there, and maybe the shot is in reverse. Maybe he doesn't actually fall that way. Maybe he's actually just getting up and they played the clip backwards. I mean, I think Price probably gets hurt in the campaign, but to kill him off in Modern Warfare 3, that would be unfortunate. But somebody has to die, right, to keep the stakes high. If anything, I just don't see anyone dying except for maybe Farah, Gaz, and maybe someone else. I just can't see them killing off Price, Ghost, or Soap, since they essentially already died in the original Modern Warfare trilogy. I mean, Price is kind of unknown, but Soap and Ghost definitely died in the OG MW games. Will they really repeat that inside of this one? I doubt it, but wouldn't be shocked if somebody ends up croaking in this game. Maybe even Laswell, but I just don't think it's going to be Price. With that being said, the writers for Modern Warfare 3 have also confirmed that there is more story left to tell within the Modern Warfare universe, and they do have plans to tell more stories after MW3. They didn't confirm Modern Warfare 4, but it's totally possible we get a Ghost spin-off game, or we do get a Modern Warfare 4 in a couple of years featuring the surviving characters of this one. So there definitely will be more stories told within this current timeline of the Modern Warfare universe. Maybe there'll be a Black Ops game that comes out one day that follows up on the narrative from OG Black Ops 2, and you can tie in one for one that way, since the games kind of take place really close to one another. Maybe that's how they do that. We'll have to wait and see what those plans could be. But something I saw really beautifully written over on Twitter the other day was from Phantom Ice, and he mentioned that essentially the narrative of the new Modern Warfare reboot is following the same beats as the OG MW trilogy, but is a bit behind. So if they're behind a game or two, we might not see certain events that we saw in the original MW3 until a proposed MW4 or something else. Because obviously no Russian happened in the original MW2. That's actually something happening now in this new MW3. So we might not see Makarov's plan in full effect. We might not see everything when it comes to Makarov's arc inside of this new COD. They might not even kill him off. They might save that for another Modern Warfare entry in a couple of years, and we might be a bit behind in terms of following those old beats from the OG MW trilogy, but who knows how they're going to play this out. Now also, don't forget, we have the post-launch narrative to also look forward to for Modern Warfare 3, so even if MW3's campaign ends on a cliffhanger, they might expand on that cliffhanger in the post-launch, or the cliffhanger setting up another COD entirely, like we saw with the No Russian teaser at the end of MW2. I'll keep you guys posted with how that's going to work. I'm really looking forward to the narrative being told here. There's a lot of good opportunities here in terms of tying in all these threads that we've seen from DMZ to Warzone to campaign into the raids. Lots they can mess around with here inside of MW3. But something else we noticed in the recent Shadow Siege event is that Konni has infiltrated Shadow Company. So Konni now has access to whatever those gas canisters were that we pulled out from Zaya Observatory. Konni has access to them. So that's definitely going to set up some really interesting plot point with Shadow Company in Modern Warfare 3, where maybe the fall of Shadow Company is because there was a breach from within. There was a mole or some rats within Shadow Company that actually worked for Konni that somehow made their way up the ranks and are going to destroy Shadow Company from within. And then it's up to Task Force 141 to kind of clean up that mess. It's probably going to result in Graves dying, but maybe they'll actually let him live and he'll have some more arcs in future MW entries. We'll have to wait and see. He's definitely become a fan favorite, and we also have to see how Task Force 141 is going to react to Graves being alive. Only Farah and Alex know about that, not Price, Ghost, Soap, or Gaz, so there's a lot of cool narrative they can tell inside MW3's campaign, or that's being saved for the post-launch of that game. We'll just have to wait and see. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the brand new gameplay event happening over at Gamescom? How are you feeling about the details we learned about campaign thanks to content creators that flew out, as well as the blog post and the gameplay trailer, plus everything else we discussed? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.